Hey folks, Flashforge sent me their newest printer, and it's a beast. Not only is it a 4-toolhead printer that lets you print multicolor with zero purge waste, it is also fully enclosed and has an actively heated chamber that goes up to 65 degrees Celsius, which lets you print engineering filaments like ASA, ABS, nylons, polycarbonate and so on. So on the paper this looks like the machine that does it all. And also the rest of the specs are very impressive and leaves hardly anything to be desired. The nozzle goes up to 320 degrees Celsius, that lets you print most everything I'm aware of. The print bed heats up to 120 degrees. Again, everything I may ever print is covered by that. The chamber heating is quite strong, it better is. Because of the hood design, there is more volume in the build chamber. It features input shaping and flow calibration. The offset is automatically calibrated for each nozzle individually. Of course, it also includes automatic bed leveling. The build volume is 256 mm cubed, and it has not just one print head, but 4, which can be loaded with different materials and different colors. And except for the prime tower, don't waste any filament when changing colors or materials. And all that costs $850. Flashforge is clearly aiming to shake up the market. And even though it's one of the most impressive 3D printers out there, I found a few things that could still be improved. Mainly in some settings of the filament and print profiles, which you can adjust yourself. But there's also something a bit more serious. I had a print failure that bent one of the nozzles, and I'll show you why this happened and how you can avoid that. I'm showing you the printer as it is out of the box, but also try to present you solutions, or at least ideas how some setting could be improved, as we encounter them in this video. It took 5 days for the printer to arrive. Everything is very compact and well packaged. Assembly is quick and easy. The toolheads and the dock can be slid into place, but be careful here, it goes a bit hard, and is then secured with 2 screws. The hood comes in 5 separate parts and also needs to be screwed together. I really like the display. Instead of a ribbon cable, it has a fixed connector and can be tilted up and down. From ordering to shipping to assembly, the whole experience was very positive. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. And before we take a look on how everything works, a quick shout out to Fanttik. They specialized in high-end power tools, such as the E2 Ultra Precision Screwdriver and the F2 Master, which is a mini cordless multi-tool. It is about the size of a pen, weighs just under 100 grams, and the matching attachments are neatly stored in the rotating stand. The set includes 35 different tools for sanding, polishing, drilling, carving and more. And they are held in place by magnets. The 5 adjustable speed settings make it perfect for a wide variety of tasks. It is dust-proof and even waterproof. I really love using it for smooth out things like support residue and rough spots. Doing it by hand can be really tedious sometimes, but with this it's just quick and easy and delivers great results. And the E2 Ultra is the perfect choice for assembly work on your 3D printing projects. Where other pen-style screwdrivers simply don't have the power needed, this one offers 5 settings up to 0.6 Nm of torque. That's impressive. It comes with a total of 50 high-strength precision bits, which are neatly arranged inside the case. Just as is the way with many other Fanttik tools that I use, the shell is made of aluminum and opens with this very cool pop-up mechanism. That way they are ready to use in no time, and everything is neatly organized. And because I really like this pop-up mechanism with the storage inside, I designed these mounts to attach everything under my desk. You can download them for free and print them yourself. If you need really good tools and value smart design and usability, check out Fanttik. You can find the Amazon links in the description as well as the underdesk mounts I designed for them. And now back to the Creator 5 Pro. Let's take a look at the test prints I did so far. Starting with the multicolor Benchy, printed without any purge waste. Really cool. And the result is impressive. Printed perfectly. Wall quality looks great, overhangs are really good. The text at the bottom is clear, no elephant's foot. And now take a look at this. Even the very small text on the back is readable, which I've never seen before like this. The Benchy definitely gets top marks. 9 out of 10. Next up is this test print. I should mention mention that it's 36 degrees and damp in my studio, so cooling is a bit of an issue. Sorry for the sweating. Even so, the overhang still looks good, up to 15 degrees. The bridging, good too. And cooling, which is important for this, would probably work even better at 20 degrees or so. It's only at the difficult walls here at the overhangs that it doesn't look quite as good. Reducing the print speed should help here. But I want to test and show you everything on the default settings, so that you know what you get right out of the box. The stringing could also due to some moisture in the filament, not sure about that. I think fiddling around with the retraction settings could also improve that. The tolerance cylinders came off like that. Perfect. Not one of these stuck. The tips turned out well all the way to the end and showed also a bit of stringing. Because of that and these not so nice walls on the overhangs, I give it a 8 out of 10. Which could be better with some simple changes in the filament profile. Still a very good result. Then I printed the torture toaster. Absolutely no problems on the walls here, it looks clean, gears are movable, the toasts are free. Again, great result on the pins, which show the tolerances. Only the 0.1mm one was not free right from the print bed.
Oh shit.
Overhangs look good, even if you don't take into account that my studio is really hot right now. The only flaw here is this pillar, which turned out a little crooked. Otherwise, it's almost perfect. But because of that, again I give it a 8 out of 10. Here's that test cube that I sometimes print, and that turned out really good. The sides are supposed to be exactly 30mm, and that fits quite well. The walls look great again, and the bridging test in the middle turned out well too.
The Creator 5 Pro also makes the flat top surfaces look really nice,
as can also be seen on the previous test prints. It's a 9 out of 10. So far it's almost too good to be true. So now let's move on to the test prints, which show where the print settings of the Creator 5 Pro need some improvement.
And which I hope will be addressed by Flashforge in a future update.
The first layer test, for example, shows that each line adheres well to the print bed, which is most important. But the material flow could be adjusted just a bit, so that all the lines connect everywhere to make it a solid sheet. Out of the box I had a couple of unconnected lines here. No big deal, it can be easily adjusted in the slicer, but as it is out of the box, I rate this a 7. When I tried to print a torture toaster with a layer height of 0.12mm, this happened. A layer shift down here, and when I printed it again, I saw why. The nozzle touched the movable print in place part of the toast lever. This part then rotated upwards and the nozzle crashed into it, which caused the layer shift, and also bent the nozzle, which I didn't realize until later. I guess this is fixable by adjusting the setup, and I wrote that to Flashforge to take a look at it. With the 0.2mm profile, which most people would use, everything works fine though. What the Pro version offers over the standard Creator 5 is the enclosure, an air filtration system and the heated build chamber, which allows you to print so-called engineering filaments. So let's load some ASA. The filament on the tool head has to be cut using this lever and can then be pulled out by hand. Then insert the new filament by hand, hold down the lever and push the filament in a little further. The screen instructs you to do this, but you have to do it yourself.
Other printers feed the filament automatically.
While that's convenient, it doesn't affect print quality at all. And if cutting back on features like that helps make the printer more affordable, that's okay with me. No big deal, but you should know that it works that way. The heater seems to be quite powerful, which is necessary because of the hood design that adds more volume compared to printers with flat tops.
It reaches 50 degrees after only 4.5 minutes, 55 degrees after 7 minutes, 60 degrees short under 10 minutes. For the max 65 degrees it took 20 minutes.
The temperature is maintained at a constant level during printing. Everything looks good in this regard.
For the ASA prints I used the default settings.
But to make it more challenging,
I increased the infill of this part to 100%.
Which usually leads to problems. More warping, and it's just more challenging overall to get a clean looking part that way. But thanks to the high temperature in the build chamber and the good bed adhesion,
this part did not warp at all.
And that's what matters most to me. Other aspects of print quality can be adjusted, but the necessary temperatures at the nozzle, print bed and, very important, in the chamber
must be met in order to print such engineering filaments properly. So even this 100% infill part came out really good. and strong as hell. The Creator 5 Pro really delivers in this regard. Everything just printed fine using the standard profiles, it's working great and the results not only look good, but also are strong, just as they should be.
Therefore, I give this one an 8 out of 10. And now for multicolor printing. It handles that very well too.
This model took 9 hours to print, and yeah, it printed nice. Also the supports came off easy.
However, it was here when I noticed that I previously bent the nozzle on that tortured toaster model at 0.12mm layer height. There the nozzle bent about 2mm, and that's why everything printed in gray here is shifted by 2mm, and I didn't notice that until now. I'm also a little impressed that it even printed like this and was not failing.
The rest of it, the parts not affected by the bent nozzle, look really good. And since there are already plenty of videos of the Creator 5 showing that multicolor works well, I decided to leave it as is and wait until my replacement nozzle arrives.
Now let me show you what I don't like about the Creator 5 Pro. There is not that much. Flushing the nozzles take place next to the print bed into the build chamber, and if things go wrong it can be sucked in by the fan at the bottom.
A poop bin like this one here does solve this problem. It attaches to the bottom of the print plate by magnets.
I put you the link to this one in the description.
As I mentioned, I would also tweak and play around with some print and filament settings. I think that this way the already good print quality can be improved even further, but I hope that such minor things will be fixed in the next slicer update. I've already pointed out the problem that I had with the torture toaster. It happened to me with 2 different filaments and 2 different tool heads. It may also just be a setting issue that will be fixed in the next update. We will see. Conclusion. The Creator 5 Pro has just hit the market, and so it's normal that a few things on the software side aren't 100% polished yet. That's pretty much the case with every new 3D printer. But I'm already thrilled and I'm looking forward to testing all the new possibilities this Multi Toolhead design offers, which I wasn't even able to touch on in this first look video. The hardware you get here is amazing, and if I had to choose just one printer that can print everything I want, it would be this one. Flashforge has even managed to keep it easy to use, and it prints with a level of precision that I've rarely seen even in more expensive single nozzle printers. Well done, Flashforge! The Creator 5 Pro is likely to be one of the best printers available in 2026. All that's needed now is a software update to fix the teething problems mentioned, and I hope Flashforge delivers on that front as well. And just as I finished the video, an update came in, so I'm going to test out what's been improved and let you know about it at a later date. Subscribe now if you don't want to miss that, and if you liked the video, I much appreciate a thumbs up. That really helps my small YouTube channel. And here are 2 more videos that might also interest you. Thanks for watching, I wish you a good time printing, and we see us in the next one.